The red storm screamed across the broken land as the small shuttle fell from the clouds like a dying bird. Metal tore apart, fire burst, and then silence. Rian opened his eyes to see smoke and dust. His helmet display flickered, showing warnings in red. He was alive, but only just. Around him stretched endless ruins. Stone towers half buried in ash, giant bones sticking from the sand. The world looked dead, but something was still breathing under it. He stood up slowly. Every step crunched on glass and bones. The wind carried whispers soft and cold like a voice speaking inside his head. "Do not free the dragon," the voice said. Rian froze. He turned in every direction, but no one was there. Then another voice came, deeper, older, and angry. "Free me, little spark," it said, "and I will give you power." Rian touched the metal badge on his chest. "Just a head injury," he muttered. "Talking to myself already." He started walking east where his sensors showed weak energy readings. The sky was red and black, the air heavy with ash. Strange shapes moved in the fog, stone statues or maybe something worse. He didn't look too close. After hours of walking, he reached a broken arch. Under it, someone waited. A girl, tall, pale blue skin glowing faintly, silver eyes bright even in the dust storm. She raised her hand and a soft light shield formed between them, blocking the storm. "You are human," she said. Her voice was calm but carried power. "You came from the stars." "Lucky guess," Rian said. "Who are you?" "I am Lyra," she answered. "Daughter of the Lost House. Some call me the last princess." Her clothes were torn, royal symbols burned away. She looked tired but unafraid. "I need your help," she said. "The regent has taken the throne. He wants the Dragon Queen's power. If he wakes her, this world will burn again." Rian blinked. "Dragon Queen? Sounds like a fairy tale." Lyra shook her head. "She is real. She sleeps under the Temple of Chains, and now the chains are breaking." Suddenly, a loud buzz filled the air. From the hills came flying machines, black, sharp, and full of red eyes. The regent's drones. Lyra grabbed Ryan's hand. "Run!" They raced through the ruins as lasers burned the ground behind them. Ryan rolled behind a fallen pillar, pulled out his small plasma cutter, and sliced open a pipe. Steam burst out, covering their escape. When the drones lost sight, they hid inside an old building, the walls covered in strange, glowing signs. Lyra traced one with her finger. "These marks tell stories of humans who came long ago. They helped us build the seals to bind the Dragon Queen." "Humans?" Ryan frowned. "My people were here before?" "Yes," she said. "Your ancestors built the chains that keep her asleep." He stared at the walls. In one carving, he saw a figure that looked human, holding a bright key-shaped device toward a giant dragon. His heart pounded. It looked just like the key chip he wore on his wrist. Before he could ask, an old woman stepped from the shadows. Her eyes glowed golden. "He has the blood of the Maker," she said softly. "It means the world still has a chance," Lyra bowed. "Elder Miri, we found him." The old woman smiled at Ryan. "If you wish to live and if you wish to save this world, you must take the oath of truth." Ryan frowned. "What's that?" "An oath that binds lies," she said. "When you take it, you and the princess cannot deceive each other." Ryan hesitated. "Why me?" Miri looked at him with sad eyes. "Because you will soon face the choice that dooms or saves us all," the heir hummed. Lyra stepped closer and held out her hand. "Do you accept?" Ryan sighed. "Fine, but I'm not promising magic tricks." They joined hands. Miri spoke ancient words, slow and clear. Light rose from their hands and formed a silver mark on both their wrists. Lyra smiled faintly. "Now if I lie, the light fades. If you lie, it burns." Rian looked at the glowing mark. "Sounds fair." A sudden rumble shook the ground. The temple walls cracked. Through the floor came a low, thunderous heartbeat. "Too late," Miri whispered. "The chains are weakening." They ran outside. In the distance, dark clouds swirled around a massive mountain. Lightning formed the shape of wings spreading across the sky. Lyra stared in fear. "That is the Temple of Chains. The dragon's heart is calling." Ryan looked at the storm. "If we stop the regent, can we fix this?" "Maybe," Lyra said. "If we reach the temple before the seal breaks." Ryan checked his scanner. Dozens of enemy signals moved toward the same mountain. "Then we better hurry." They started moving again through the glowing ruins. The whispers in Rian's head returned. Two voices now fighting over him. "Trust her," said the soft one. "Free me," said the deep one. He pressed his hands to his ears. "Both of you, shut up. Lyra looked at him. What's wrong? Nothing, he lied. The silver mark on his wrist burned bright. Lyra stopped walking and stared at him. You lied, she said quietly. Ryan groaned. Okay, fine. I heard voices again. Miri looked back with heavy eyes. Then the queen already knows your name. As they reached the edge of the ruins, the sun broke through the red storm for a brief moment. Light touched the broken towers, and the carvings glowed with one final message. The one who carries human blood will hold the dragon's key. Ryan's scanner beeped louder. He looked at his wrist where the mark still glowed. Somewhere far below, something answered that glow, a heartbeat deep under the world. And in that moment, Ryan knew one thing for sure. This was no accident. The world had been waiting for him. The wind howled through the canyons as Ryan, Lyra, and Elder Miri reached the edge of a deep valley. The ground below shimmered with strange silver light. There, half buried in black stone, stood a massive structure, ancient, cracked, and glowing from within. Lyra whispered, "The Temple of Chains." The sky above it was torn by lightning, red and gold. Every flash revealed a shape beneath the mountain, something alive, something huge. Ryan's chest tightened. "That's not a temple," he said quietly. "That's a cage." They started down the narrow path, rocks breaking under their boots. The deeper they went, the louder the sound became, a heartbeat slow and deep shaking the air. Lyra's eyes shone. The queen still dreams. The chains hold her. For now. Elder Miri leaned on her staff. Every 1,000 years her power rises again. The seal must be renewed or this world will burn. Ryan frowned. Then why not destroy her completely? Miri looked at him. You cannot destroy fire. You only choose who it warms and who it burns. Inside the temple, the air was thick with energy. Glowing lines of light covered the walls, chains made of pure song. Each note hummed softly, forming a melody that echoed through the vast chamber. Ryan touched one. It felt alive. The sound entered his mind, a woman's voice, proud and ancient. Your kind built my prison, the voice said. And now you stand where they fell. Ryan jumped back. She's talking to me. Lyra's face went pale. She knows you. The queen's mind touches only those who share her blood. He shook his head. I'm human. I have nothing to do with... Before he could finish, the light chain flashed. Images filled his head, a memory not his own. Humans in white suits working beside aliens, building the temple together, a huge dragon, scales like gold fire, watching them. One human held a key shaped like Ryan's wrist device. He placed it in the seal and screamed. The vision ended. Ryan fell to his knees, gasping. The Maker's blood still flows in you. Miri whispered. That is why the queen calls your name. Ryan looked at his hands. What does she want from me? Lyra's voice trembled. Freedom. A distant roar echoed from above. The temple shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The regent's troops are here, Lyra said. He found us. Ryan pulled out his plasma cutter. No time for talks. Let's move. They ran through a hall of stone giants, ancient statues of dragons and humans standing side by side. The air grew hotter, the heartbeat faster. The light chains flickered as if waking. Suddenly a blast hit the gate ahead. Steel drones poured in, red lights scanning. Reenacted fast. He spotted broken vents along the ceiling. He climbed the statue and aimed his cutter. Cover me! Lyra raised her hand, summoning a glowing barrier. Energy beams bounced off, lighting her face like a goddess. Ryan sliced the vents, hot steam exploded out, filling the room with white fog. Now, he shouted. They slipped through a side tunnel, leaving the drones blind and lost. In the tunnel, the glow from the walls dimmed. The air was cooler here, quiet, too quiet. Ryan's device beeped softly. Power readings are unstable. Something big is moving. They reached a chamber filled with blue crystals. In the center floated a massive crystal heart, half light, half shadow. Chains of energy bounded in all directions. Lyra whispered, That's the queen's heart. Miri raised her staff, chanting, Stay back. The chains will sense your will. But it was too late. The heart pulsed and a voice filled the room. Human, it said softly. Your blood carries the code of my maker. You can unseal me. Ryan clenched his fist. I didn't come here to unseal you. I came to stop the regent, stop one tyrant, unleash another. The voice laughed. Your kind always chooses fire. Lyra stepped forward. Queen Virus, if you are truly wise, stay asleep. The Regent seeks your power, not peace. The voice softened. How's the child of chains? Your mother sang the seal that bound me. I remember her tears. Lyra froze. My mother? Yes, she begged me to spare this world, I did. But now her daughter walks with the human who can free me. The light chains flickered violently. Cracks spread across the crystal floor. Ryan pulled Lyra back. We need to leave, Miri shouted over the noise. The chain is breaking. Someone outside is using dark code. A red light flashed on Ryan's device. A signal from above. The Regent's army was trying to override the seal's core. He's using my tech to break the lock, Ryan said. He hacked my ship before the crash. He dropped to his knees, opening the device's control screen. Sparks flew. I can counter it. If I connect directly to the heart. Are you insane? Lyra cried. You'll die. Ryan smiled grimly. Maybe, but if I don't, we all die. He pressed his hand on the glowing heart. Pain shot through him like fire. Symbols flashed around his arm. Old human code mixing with alien runes. The light chain brightened, holding the cracks in place. The Queen's voice screamed in his mind. Foolish human. You try to bind me again? You think you can chain a storm? Ryan shouted back, if it saves her world, yes. The ground trembled. The chains glowed white. The voice roared and then silence. Ryan fell backward, smoke rising from his hands. Lyra caught him before he hit the floor. You did it, she whispered. The chain holds. Miri nodded weakly. For now. But as they looked up, they saw a single glowing crack still pulsing in the crystal. From inside, 2 fiery eyes opened, and the Dragon Queen smiled. The storm calmed for a moment as dawn touched the broken valley. Ryan, Lyra, and Elder Miri moved through narrow canyons toward a safe hideout. The air still hummed from the temple's power. Far behind them, the crystal heart kept beating, slow, angry, awake. They reached an old bridge of black stone. Under it, red mist rolled like a river of smoke. Ryan checked his device. Enemy signals faded. For the first time in hours, they could breathe. Then lights flashed on the cliff above. Sleek figures slid down on silent lines, 10 of them fast and precise. Their armor shone silver blue, marked with royal symbols. Their leader removed her mask. She had kind eyes and a calm voice. Princess Lyra, she said, bowing. We are loyalists of the old court. We came to rescue you. Lyra stepped forward in shock. Commander Sarah, I thought you were dead. The woman smiled. The Regent failed to kill us all. She looked at Ryan. And you must be the human engineer. The one who held the chain. Ryan stayed quiet. He watched their boots, their belts, their lines. Everything looked perfect. Maybe too perfect. Elder Miri leaned on her staff. If you are loyalists, then speak the oath of dawn. Sarah did not hesitate. She spoke the words clearly, and the others repeated. Lyra's eyes softened. It's real, she whispered. Ryan frowned. He tapped his device, scanning. The armor's core pinged a signal, faint, hidden. Old code buried under false tags. He looked closer at Sarah's wrist module. The crest shimmered, and for a second it glitched red. Ryan's stomach turned cold. Regent code. Sarah stepped closer, kind and careful. Come with us, Princess. We will take you to a safe base. There we can plan to stop the Regent and guard the temple. Lyra looked at Ryan, hopeful. Maybe this is our chance, Ryan spoke softly. Commander, your armor, where did you get repairs? Sarah's smile did not change. From the old forges, Ryan shook his head. No, the old forges use blue lattices. You have red. The Regent's lattice. Sarah's eyes hardened only for a heartbeat. Then she smiled again. You are a careful man, human. That is good, she raised her hand. Guns rose. 10 barrels. All pointing at Ryan and Lyra. Princess, Sarah said, voice gentle. The Regent wants you alive. He wants you crowned as a symbol. He wants the people quiet when he wakes the Dragon Queen. Please do not make this violent. Lyra's face fell. She looked at the soldiers. Some looked ashamed. One avoided her eyes. The mark on Lyra's wrist glowed softly. The oath of truth with Ryan. Ryan stepped in front of her.
You want her alive.
You don't need me. Let me go. Sarah tilted her head. You misunderstand. The Regent also wants your hands. Only human blood can unlock the final gate. Ryan smiled without warmth. Then you should have brought more soldiers. Before Sarah could answer, he snapped his cutter and fired a bright line into the bridge's support. Stone screamed. The whole span shook. Run, Ryan shouted. Lyra grabbed Miri and they sprinted as the bridge cracked behind them. The loyalists, no, the fakes, stumbled as the stone fell in chunks. Sarah cursed and leapt forward fast as a blade. 2 soldiers fired. Beams shattered the edge near Ryan's feet. Rian threw a small pulse charge. It clanged against the far support and exploded. The bridge split in 2. Half the enemy fell with the roaring stone into the red mist below. The others grappled to the cliff and scrambled for new angles. Sarah landed light on the surviving half and smiled coldly across the gap. "You are brave, human. Brave and foolish." She pressed a control on her wrist. A high, thin note cut the air. The ground trembled. From deep within the mountain, the temple answered. A line of light shot up from the horizon, pure gold, like the edge of a wing. The heartbeat grew louder, closer, stronger. The Dragon Queen stirred. Lyra stared in horror. She is waking. Because of the attack. Because of us. Rian pulled the others along a narrow path toward a lower ravine. We didn't wake her, Sarah did. She used the Regent's override. Miri gasped for air. The seal feels pain. The chainsongs are breaking again. Sarah raised her voice across the broken gap. "Princess Lyra, you still can save your people. Come with us. Let the Regent crown you. When the Queen rises, the people will need a calm face." Lyra shook her head. "A calm face? For a dead world?" Sarah's smile faded. "Then we take you by force." Hooks shot across the gap, biting stone. The soldiers prepared to jump. Rian scanned fast, thinking faster. The ravine below spat steam from old vents. The mists were heavy with charged dust. He saw cracked pipes and a forgotten switchbox under a broken arch. He sprinted to it, ripped off the panel, and crossed 2 cables with his cutter. The air hummed. The red mist turned into a bright, living field. "Down!" he shouted. Lyra and Miri dropped. The hooks that crossed the gap touched the charged fog and burned white. Metal screamed and snapped. The soldiers yanked back, hands smoking. Sarah's gaze sharpened. For the first time, she looked angry. "Enough games," she said. She pressed a deeper code on her wrist. Far away, the temple roared like a living sun. The sky split with light. A second wing rose beside the first. Lyra whispered, "She is almost free." Ryan stared at the rising light. The Queen's power rolled over the land like heat from a furnace. It felt like standing too close to a star. He turned to Lyra. "We can't run anymore. We have to move first." "Where?" she asked. Rian looked toward the distant palace towers, sharp and black against the burning sky. "To the Snake's Head." Miri nodded, eyes dark. "The Palace of Masks." Behind them, Sarah lowered her arm and spoke into a hidden channel. "Target moving to the palace. Prepare the Chainbreaker's final note." Her voice was calm again, almost kind. Across the valley, the Dragon Queen opened her eyes wider inside the crystal heart and smiled like fire learning to breathe. They moved at night, hiding between broken walls and dead trees. The chain-breaking song rolled from the palace like a cold wind. It pressed on the ears, on the bones, on the heart. Even the stars seemed to pulse with it. Ryan led the way with quiet steps. Lyra stayed close. Elder Miri whispered small prayers that sounded older than the ruins. Then the world went silent. No wind. No insects. No sound at all. A warm glow rose around them, soft gold like dawn underwater. The air turned sweet, heavy with spice and smoke. A voice spoke, rich and slow, inside their heads and all around them at once. "Human, princess, keeper of old songs. Stop running." Lyra's breath caught. "Virus." The Dragon Queen's presence filled the valley without breaking a single leaf. In the distance, the crystal heart beat like a sun behind stone. "Look," the Queen said. The ground became glass. Images appeared, sharp, bright, alive. They saw the Regent's army fall in a single hour. Drones melted. Tanks cracked open like seeds. Cities lowered their weapons. Fires died under a wave of warm light. Children laughed as rain washed the ash away. The whole planet bowed to the Queen's shadow, and no one dared to start a new war. "Peace," Virus said gently. "If I rise, if you free me," Ryan swallowed. The vision changed. The sky was too clear, the air too thin. Cracks opened in the deserts. Storms formed where seas should be. The Queen's heat bent the climate like soft metal. The world lived, but under a hard hand. People smiled with careful mouths. Lyra stood very still. "Is there another path?" The vision flickered. Now the Queen slept again, and power flowed slowly through bright crystals across the land. People learned to share small lights. Farms grew. Justice took time. The regent fell to a court not to fire. The world healed, but slowly, with scars. The queen's voice softened. My promise is true. I can end the war today. But your world will pay later. Choose speed, or choose pain with hope. A harsh crack tore the stillness. The golden glow vanished. Noise returned. Wind, sand, distant engines. Miri leaned on her staff. She tempts with truth, not lies. That is why she is dangerous. Ryan lifted his device. A red warning flashed. Broadcast incoming. Every tower across the valley lit up. The regent's face appeared in the sky as a tall black silhouette. People of Aria, his voice boomed. Bring me the princess and the human. If you resist, your farms burn tonight. The map on Ryan's device showed fields across 3 valleys. Each had an old light tower, half dead, sleeping. Ryan looked at Lyra. We can't fight his whole army. But we can save the farms. How? She asked. By sharing small lights, he said. Not one big fire. He sprinted to the nearest tower. The panel was cracked, wires dusty and cold. He crossed leads, bridged gaps with spare metal, and fed the tower a tiny spark from his wrist chip. The tower woke with a deep hum. Next, Ryan said. They moved fast, tower to tower, hands bleeding, hearts racing. Lyra sang to the crystals inside each one, and they answered like old friends. Miri traced symbols that calmed the wind around the beams. One by one, the towers linked. Thin lines of light spread over the fields, forming a glowing net. When the regent's fireships arrived, their beams hit the net and bent away, harmless as rain. Across the valleys, people cheered. The regent's face darkened in the sky. Then I will break your shield at the root. He lifted his hand. The chain-breaking song surged, louder, crueler. The temple of chains shook. Deep under the mountain, the crystal heart split along a long, bright seam. Miri gasped. The third song? It is cracking. Ryan's device screamed with alarms. It's not the regent's code. This note is older. Cleaner. Someone is singing the chain break from inside the palace. Lyra's eyes filled with shock. Who could sing it? The wind carried a faint, familiar tune. Gentle, perfect, heartbreaking. Lyra whispered. That voice. I know it. The crystal heart boomed like thunder. The lights of the valley flickered. Night wrapped the capital like dark silk. The palace rose from black rock, sharp and tall, covered in mirrored plates that showed 100 false moons. Guards walked like shadows along the bridges. Music drifted from high halls, soft, sweet, and wrong. Ryan, Lyra, and Elder Miri moved through old servant tunnels under the palace. The air smelled of oil and dust. Ryan's light stayed low. Lyra's hand shook as she listened to the music above. That song, she whispered. I know it, Miri nodded. A court song. Old and pure. Ryan checked the map he built from stolen codes. One level up, then left. The singer is near the central spire. They climbed a narrow stair. Behind a panel of carved wood, Ryan found a hidden viewer slit. Through it, a small chamber glowed with candlelight. A woman stood at a crystal harp, fingers moving like water. Her hair was silver, her eyes gentle and sad. Lyra pressed a hand to her mouth. Tutor Arel, the woman's voice floated like glass. Each note slid into the next and sank into the palace stones. Runes along the walls lit up, chain-breaking script, bright and perfect. Ryan's throat went tight. She's the one singing the chain apart. Lyra stared through the slit. She taught me truth and mercy. Why would she do this? Arel's voice trembled for one breath, as if she heard the question through stone. Then she sang stronger, and somewhere deep below, the temple answered with a crack like ice on a river. Footsteps. Ryan pulled the panel closed, and they hid in the dark. Boots passed. A low laugh followed. Regent Karks. He entered the chamber with 3 black-armored guards. His face was calm, almost kind, the way a knife can look clean. Arella, he said softly. You sing beautifully. The people will thank you when the queen brings peace, Arella kept singing. Tears slid down her face. Karks turned to a mirrored wall. Bring them. 2 drones dragged in prisoners, workers from the lower halls, hands bound. One was the same soldier Ryan had spared at the temple. The man met Ryan's hidden eyes for a brief second, as if he somehow knew where they were. Karks looked up toward the slit. No, past it, as if he could smell fear. Princess Lyra, he said to the empty air, I know you hear me. Come to me and I spare your people. Refuse and I end this song with blood. The queen will wake angry. She will burn without a leash. Lyra's breath shook. Ryan gripped her wrist. The oath mark warmed them both. "We are not his pieces," he whispered. Miri's fingers traced old signs on the stone. There is a way. Ryan's mind raced. He had no army, no guns. But this palace was a machine built by pride. Machines have weak points. He whispered a plan. Miri nodded once, grave. Lyra listened, eyes bright with courage and hurt. They moved fast. Ryan broke open a maintenance panel and rerouted power to the lowest kitchens and worker halls. Lights flickered on in places long kept dark. He patched the service channels into a single loop and let one message run. Doors to the east stairs are open. Smoke only, no fire, no killing. The soldier Ryan had saved heard the whisper on his cuff. He looked at his captors, then at a loose vent above. He coughed, kicked his chain into a live wire, and the drones glitched for one heartbeat. Enough. He slipped the cuff, freed two others, and pulled them toward the east door, just as it unlocked. In the chamber, Arel's song shook. Her eyes lifted. She saw Lyra's shadow in the mirror. "Child," she breathed, "forgive me." Kark smiled. "Ah." He pressed a hidden switch. The floor under the mirror slid away. Stairs formed, leading to a high balcony, the crown ledge where rulers showed power to the city. "Come, princess," he called. "Let us speak as leaders." Lyra stepped out from the panel before Ryan could stop her. She stood tall, tears bright but voice steady. "I will not be your mask," Kark bowed slightly. "Then be my key." He looked at Ryan. "Human. Open the final lock and I will spare the fields." Ryan shook his head. "You spare nothing," Kark's smile faded. "Then I spare no one." He nodded at Arel. The tutor's song climbed to a last terrible note. The palace mirrors turned gold. The whole city hummed. "Stop!" Lyra cried. Areli's fingers bled on the strings, but she did not stop. "Forgive me," she whispered and sang the note clean. The world rang. Deep under the mountain, the last chain shattered. The crystal heart split like dawn breaking. Heat rolled across the land. The Dragon Queen rose inside the light, eyes open, wings wide. The palace windows burst inward. Every mirror showed fire. Kark spread his hands, smiling at the coming god. Ryan grabbed Lyra and Miri, pulling them toward the stairs as the ceiling cracked. Above them, the queen took her first full breath, and the world remembered what fear felt like. The palace shook like a drum as the Dragon Queen rose in light. Fire flowed along the mirrors, turning them into rivers of gold. Windows burst. Flags curled to ash. The city held its breath. Regent Karks lifted his arms to the sky. "Great Queen, I woke you. Command me and I will command the world." The queen's eyes opened, two suns in a calm face. Her voice rolled over the rooftops, deep and soft like mountains speaking. "I do not share thrones," she said. A single pulse of heat crossed the plaza. Karks's crown glowed red and slid from his head, melted to a drop. His guards' rifles bent like wax. Drones fell from the air in lines, clattering like dead locusts. The army broke in 1 hour. Tanks sank into the streets. Fortress doors sighed open and never closed again. The chain breakers tried one more note. The queen blew, and their song fluttered away like dust. People knelt, wide-eyed and shaking. For a moment, peace sat heavy and still. Then the sky changed. Clouds fled. The air grew too clear, too thin. Heat climbed the city walls, then ran to the fields like a river. Far deserts cracked. The wind roared from empty places. Storms began where seas should be. Ryan looked at his device. Numbers jumped, lines turned red. Lyra gripped the railing. "She will end the war, but she will end us too." "Not if she shares power," Elder Miri said. Her voice shook. "But dragons do not share." The queen turned her head slowly, searching the city, the palace, the hearts below. Her gaze found Lyra on the crown ledge. It lingered. Then it slid to Ryan and stopped. "Maker's blood," Virus said, curious and warm. "Come." The balcony steps cracked under Ryan's boots as he walked to the ledge. The heat pressed into his bones, but he kept moving. He held up his wrist chip, the ancestor device, the key-coded shard that had touched the chains. "Virus," Ryan said, steady. "I am Ryan. I don't want to bind you. I want to keep this world alive." "Brave," the queen said. "And late." She breathed, and the palace roof lifted away like a lid. Stars shone in noon brightness. Below, the city glowed red at the edges. Ryan tapped his chip. A thin beam reached the queen's light, not as a chain but as a bridge. Symbols rose, human code and dragon runes braided together. The city fell away. In a blink, Ryan stood inside a clear hall of gold and shadow, face to face with her, vast, beautiful, dangerous as the first fire. "You carry the Maker's echo," Virus said. "What do you offer me, tiny one?" Ryan showed her the tower's net. The small lights spread across the fields, the shared power grid Lyra had sung awake. He showed weather maps, heat models, the way her breath pushed the winds too hard. "Share your fire in streams," he said. "Let it flow through the land, not over it. Lyra can hold the oath. I can build the lines. You will be loved, not feared." Virus watched the maps like a queen watching children build castles. "If I stay above the world, I rule today. If I sleep and share, I rule slowly. Your kind always wants fast peace." Ryan shook his head. "Not fast, true." Outside the vision, the city groaned. Roof tiles curled. Distant forests smoked. People cried in fear, then hope, then fear again. Lyra stepped forward on the ledge, hands open. "Virus," she said, voice strong and clear. "I am the heir of the oath. I will carry your power with consent, not command." Elder Miri raised her staff and spoke the oldest line. "Power given is seed, power taken is blade." The queen tilted her head. For a heartbeat, the storms paused. The heat slipped down one measure. The world listened. "Very well," Virus said at last. "I will give a pact. But a river must have a source. A throne must have one ruler." Her eyes brightened. The gold hall turned sharp as a blade. "Human," she said. "You touched the seal and you hold the choice key. You will choose the source." She lifted one wing. The air hummed like a great bell. "Choose Lyra, the alien princess. The world heals slowly. Wars will end by courage, not fear." She lifted the other wing. The light grew fierce. "Choose me, the Dragon Queen. The world kneels today. No war dares breathe for 1,000 years." Ryan's heart hammered. The city waited. The planet waited. Virus lowered her head until her eyes filled the sky. "Choose now, human," she whispered, warm as sunrise and sharp as a sword. "Whose will shall save your world?" Time stretched thin as wire. The city burned at the edges. The wind howled like a choir of broken bells. Ryan stood inside the golden hall of light, face to face with the Dragon Queen. One wing promised peace today. The other promised hope tomorrow with pain. Lyra waited on the crown ledge, hands open, eyes bright and wet but steady. Elder Miri held the staff against the stones, whispering the old words to keep the ledge from falling. "Choose," Virus said again, soft and terrible. Ryan looked at the maps he had drawn in his mind. One road was smooth but ended in cracks. The other was rough, full of hard days and long nights, but it led to green. He breathed once. "I choose Lyra." The golden hall shook. The queen's eyes narrowed, then warmed like a fire learning patience. "You doom your world to work," Virus said. "Not to fear." Ryan lifted his wrist chip. "Then doom us to freedom." He sent the choice key, one bright thread, into the tower's net across the valleys. Lines of light woke, leaping from field to field, village to village, city to city. The net pulsed not as a wall now, but as a riverbed. Lyra stepped forward, singing the simplest melody she knew. 3 notes her mother taught her as a child. The notes joined the thread, and the thread became a wide, slow current. "Share," Ryan said. Virus lowered her head. A flame like liquid gold flowed from her chest into the current. Not a storm. Not a blast. A steady stream. Across the planet, dead towers blinked awake. Small farms glowed. Water pumps coughed and then ran. Hospitals lit. Schools hummed. The great heat dropped, degree by degree. The sky let clouds return. The wind softened. Regent Kark screamed at the dying drones and swung at shadows. The city did not kneel to him now. It did not kneel at all. People stood. Workers rose from the lower halls with the soldier Rian had spared. They cut the regent's banners and opened the palace gates. Guards threw down weapons. Not out of fear. Out of choice, Karks tried to run. He met Elder Miri at the stair. She did not strike him. She lifted her old hand and spoke 6 words. "Face the people you used." He walked, shaking, into the open court that had formed in the plaza. Circles of folk, eyes bright and clear. No throne, only voices. The queen turned to Lyra. "Heir of chains. Do you understand the cost?" Lyra bowed her head. "Yes, years of work. Slow justice. Shared power. No crowns without consent." Virus closed her eyes. "Then I give you my river." She folded her wings. The golden hall faded. The palace roof settled back like a sigh. The mirrors turned to simple glass. The city exhaled. Rian staggered on the ledge. Lyra caught him. The oath mark on their wrists glowed softly like a promise that did not need words. Down in the plaza, people sang, not a war song, not a fear song, a work song. Low, strong, stubborn. Miri smiled through tears. Power given as seed, she said. Today you planted. The Dragon Queen rose a little, then lowered herself again. Her body became crystalline light, woven into the temple's heart. Not a cage now. A reservoir. She would sleep and breathe softly, feeding the rivers of light that circled the world. The storms outside the valleys still rumbled. The desert still cracked. But green touched the edges like first paint on rough stone. Lyra looked at Ryan. Was this right? Rian looked at the children dancing in the plaza's dust and the worker lifting an old banner to stitch it into a blanket. He looked at the soldier he had saved, now helping strangers to their feet. He looked at the net of light, steady and kind. It was human, he said. That's enough. A tremor rolled under their boots, small, quick, wrong. Miri's smile faded. She turned toward the mountain. Deep below, the crystal heart throbbed once, twice, and then a second lower beat answered from under the temple's floor. Older, hidden, patient. Lyra's eyes widened. Another heart? Ryan checked his device. A cold signal pulsed beneath all the others. Not golden, not warm. Blue-black like deep water. The Queen's voice entered their minds, now a whisper in a long corridor. I was never alone. The ledge shivered. In the plaza, the court fell silent and looked to the mountain. The new heartbeat grew louder, slow and heavy. As if a door the world had forgotten began to open. Ryan and Lyra shared one look. The kind that holds 1,000 plans. Work isn't over, he said. Lyra nodded. Then we begin again.